What's up, peoples? I'm gonna make a long story short. I know a lot of people know me for making figures. Figures, you might ask? Now, I deleted all my figures from my channel, but these are the figures I'm talking about. These are the type of figures I used to make. Used to get requests for the Five Nights at Freddy's type figures. And all my figures are articulate. They can bend, close their mouths, all that type of stuff. Here's another one. Like, his mouth is changeable. I put Velcro. You can switch the mouth. This is another figure. Ears bent. Hey, this is actually pretty cool. I'd be surprised that I used to make these type of things. The fan figure from Adventure Time. Look at this. His mouth opens as well. But I'm done making these figures. See, the problem with these figures were they're not my own design. I'm trying to move somewhere where I can be more original in my own design. I said I wouldn't do these figures anymore, and I mean it. But I decided to take those skills that I've acquired from making figures and doing animation and apply them to the field of robotics. Yeah. I went from this to this. I know it looks crazy now, but hey, it's going to be amazing in the future. Just think about it. What if I created a figure like this, but it can move on its own, or it can be controlled by a controller like a robot? What if I took the skills that I used to make these, but they were wired up with this stuff on the inside? And not only that, they're my own designs. Long story short, that's the path. Look at all these wires. I just had to learn all this stuff. And this is just nothing. This is like the basic of the basic, but that's the journey. Let's get into it.
All right, so I finally figured out what I'm gonna do for my first robot guy thingamajigger. What if I made a hand that actually moves and walks on his arm? I guess that would be kind of creepy, but I think that'll be a good first project. I'll be tackling a lot of things, walking, motors, all that good stuff. So this is what I came up with. I divided my hand into all the sections that I think the hand needs to be divided into, I guess. Fingers to bend, and even your hand right here, you know, it has a little bend right here. This is basically, I'm using basically, what is this, foam board, like one of those, the thick hard piece of foam board, you know, so it's very stable, very sturdy. Middle, ring finger, pinky, point, thumb, palms. All right, I got the thumb cut out. Look at that. That is a nice cutting job, if I do say so myself. Cutting out the pinky finger. All right, ta-da. What? Oh, there we go. I made sure I label everything. Just from my experience in other areas, it's better to keep everything labeled and organized so you have no confusion of what you're doing. So now I'm gonna go into the next step. Time to throw away the scraps. I'm gonna miss you guys. All right, before I design the robot, I want to get this hand finished. And then after I finish the hand, I'm going to start to attach the motors and everything. I have a lot of rope and stuff lying around for my clothing that I'm making, my clothing line. Also elastic. I have all types of things. So I'm going to use all this stuff that I have and construct this hand. Quick intermission real quick. My mom got this for me. This is amazing. I love this thing. Close the lid. And boom. We got to make sure it smells good in the studio. Woo! Amazing! All right, back to work. So I'm just heating the glue gun up real quick. Another thing I wanted to mention was my first idea of a project that I thought about making was of a figure, you know, one of my plush figures, and have that as an animatronic where it can move and all that kind of stuff. But I just came up with the idea today to do a hand for my first project, and I can learn everything from this, whether it go good or bad. I can learn everything, and then as I go into the next project, I get better, and then I get better, and then I get better, and I get better. So I'm going to use this elastic to attach the hands, but right now it's too thick, so I'm going to cut it in half. There we go. I cut them out all into strips. See if I can't go ahead and attach these. So this is the hand that I have completed. Notice I put all the elastic on the back side, so that way once it bends, look, it snaps back. They snap back. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm learning as I go. If the motors are too big, they're too big. If the hand's too small, it's too small. If it's too big, it'll either work or it won't work, you know, but you'll learn. So this is my mechanism to make the finger curl, and then I make sure these were all tight and laid down. That way it keeps the rope stationary and it controls each finger like that. The reason it's doing that and it's not curling, see, if I pull it all the way, it curls all the way. Any give, any leeway in between these wires stops it from curling like that, and it gives more of this kind of motion. So yeah, I'm going to keep working on that. Inserting the last wire. This is, what is this? Dang, what's the name of this? Copper? I can't remember what is type of wire this is. Well, anyway, it's a wire. Just inserting it through the hose, laying it down like this. See, these sticks are going to make it a lot easier to glue in place than, you know, worry about this flimsy finger flopping around everywhere. Notice I even did a slit in the middle because your hand folds that way as well. A lot of people have been asking me, why don't I make those figures anymore? And for a lot of personal reasons. Some reasons I have actually shared on the channel for anyone who was there at the time, but a lot of personal reasons. Like I said, I thought, why not take all those skills that I've accumulated building figures and my animation skills and apply it to robotics. I think this will be much better. Make my own original projects and characters instead of creating figures someone else made, and that's what your content is. It just basically is based off of a popular character. People only watch it for that character that they're looking forward to. I can't say that you do got some people that enjoy your content, so they're going to be there regardless. Even though you're creating it and redesigning it in your own style or as a figure, it's still based off of another person's made character. All dry. All right, let's get some rope going. I got the big boy pliers. I think that's going to make it a lot easier to lay all these wires down. So such as taking it here and clamping, boom, smashing it like that and laying it down. All right, I got the hand all rigged up and everything, but I'm having a lot of problems. Look, this finger is curling. This finger don't want to curl. This finger, yeah. And this finger is the only one that's good, but it doesn't go all the way back. The thumb is cool. That's how it should operate. I'm going to figure out what is wrong with these other fingers. All right, we're looking a little better. So one thing I did is went ahead and trimmed off some of these edges so it doesn't have too sharp edges. You know, just like our fingers, it has the creases. So I went ahead and carved off one of the edge on each finger. So now we have, if we look at it now, the thumb still as good as it was. The point finger curls. The middle finger, that curls too. Ring finger, pinky. I think I'm going to add another layer of elastic to help that snap back. Now look at that finger. Now it's stuck pointing up. All right, let's see. Do a snap back now. Because remember, this wasn't snapping back. So if I pull it, yep, there we go. Problem resolved. All right, now for the hand test. Yep. All the fingers look like they're working properly. Even the thumb. Look at this. This was a nice addition to add that fold in the hand. Look at that. I can either fold it here or I can bend the entire hand like that. High five. All right, for the first rig test. Nope. Moment of truth. We got our little knob right there. I was using this potentiometer that I got out of the Raspberry Pi kit. Once I learned how to rig everything up and connect all the wires, I learned real fast that you can purchase a kit with a faulty mechanism. You know, this thing does not work. And I figured out that this did not work by disconnecting all the wires from this and plugging in this tiny one. And I got this one from the Arduino kit. Garbage. Garbage. All right. Got our board. Got the knob.